Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium, and today we're going to be talking about, well, what is everybody talking about? What is happening in Iran? But we're also going to be talking about this eclipse and the astrology and the energy and the psychic and the tarot, and we're going to cover it all for you. And to do that, I brought my good friend Celeste here from Astrology by Celeste. This is a high-powered woman right here. You guys just don't even know her credentials are insane, okay? But she's extremely accurate, especially talking about this political nightmare that we're living in. And I thought, when all this happened, I reached out to her and I said, Celeste, do you have any time to come on my channel? Because you are the one that I need to talk to right now about this eclipse energy. My goodness, apparently it is affecting us and the orange man in charge. So thank you, Celeste, for coming on. How are you doing today?
Hi, Susan. I'm so happy to be here. I'm doing okay. I'm really working on protecting my energy, trying to recognize how I am really feeling rather than push it down. And yeah, using tools to keep myself grounded, getting extra rest. I've been taking naps.
That's good advice. That's good advice. Thank you for that. Yes.
Mhm.
Because the energy, we're all sensitive, right? Whether you're an astrologer, a numerologer, or a Reiki person, or just you don't think you're anything, we're all sensitive. We're all absorbing this energy. So that's such good advice. So I think it's interesting that we had an eclipse, and then we went to war. And my question is, among other things, how is that connected? Is it connected? And what do you see happening in the stars?
Okay. Yeah. So every year we
Okay.
have two eclipse seasons and they open a new chapter. And on February 17th, we had a solar eclipse in Aquarius that was right next to the USA moon. And the moon rules the people of a country. So we knew there was going to be a big story affecting the people of the United States. And people have been talking about this for years. And it's a really important eclipse as well because it squared Uranus, and Uranus brings sudden upheaval and it disrupts things. It's also about awakenings. So when you have Uranus talking to any of your natal planets, you will get insights and awakenings about a certain topic. And Aquarius rules the collective and it rules tech. AI is an Aquarius topic. Large groups of people, societies. It's, and one of the biggest stories right when it happened was that Business Insider wrote an article about how they interviewed the CEO of AI for Microsoft, and he predicted that AI would be able to do most of the functions of white collar jobs within 18 months. So that was the first thing we heard. So that really impacts the people. It's about this disruption from this technology. And Uranus is in Taurus, a sign of earth, like the land, resources, money. So yeah, that was like a shock. Although people maybe didn't pay that much attention to it, but you should if you have a job where you sit at a desk all day. It's like, what are you doing to prepare for these kinds of changes? And since then, Jack Dorsey has, what is this company called, Block? He by tweet like laid off a big part of his staff saying it was about AI. So that was like, it wasn't just a story someone was telling. Within
It happened.
days, we see it actually happening. So that's the first big story about AI and how it's involved. And then Anthropic, the Pentagon wanted Anthropic to sign some kind of document that would and Anthropic negotiated back and said, we do not want our technology used to surveil the people of the United States or be able to fire off weapons without human intervention. They don't want machines making decisions about what to attack. And the Pentagon said that was a deal killer and took on the deal fell through, and this was during Mercury retrograde. I can get to that as well. And then OpenAI is going to do it. So we see this, and the president called them woke because they would not allow them to surveil the American people or just fire weapons from a computer. So that's a big thing. So these are three things we're seeing right away, and that's just about the tech and the disruptive nature of the tech. And Anthropic walked away from a $200 million contract because of ethics, which are so lacking in this world today. Yeah.
And then I heard Anthropic went down. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
They
so
went
many
down
people
from like
people are canceling ChatGPT and they're moving to Claude, Anthropic's AI.
AI.
Yes.
And maybe that's why they went down, because they had too many signups, too much. Wow. Okay, so see, are you guys connecting the dots here with the technology, the Aquarius, and all of these things that are happening? How does this, or does this eclipse play into the war?
Yes. So there was a full moon. So what happens every month? We have a new moon where things are seated and a full moon where things are illuminated. And we're in this cycle right now where the new moons are at the very end of the signs. So you have a new moon in one sign, and then all of a sudden you're in the next sign. You don't have any time to adjust or see how the story's growing. It's kind of like herky jerky.
It's a cliffhanger.
It's like, it's like this cliffhanger, and then something comes in, what have you. And so we had a new moon in Capricorn back in January 18th or 17th, the sign of governments, big business. And then right before the full moon, which then we moved into an Aquarius season, and Aquarius rules groups of people like Jeffrey and his friends. And right before the full moon, where there was all this Aquarius energy, and then we had this Leo full moon, where the Leo is like the royalty, the elites, the people who think they're special, performers, celebrities, and Aquarius is the audience, the people, the groups, society. And there was this face-off between the two of them. And right before the full moon, all these Epstein files were dropped. The like 3 million files. And it's what's been fascinating, because we're in a time where, and we have a lunar eclipse in Virgo right now, and this has all been leading to this lunar eclipse. People came in and started organizing, categorizing, sorting.
That's right.
This is what Virgo energy does.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so this is a key story that led us to this where we are right now.
Good point.
And the people noticed, the investigative journalists, there was something about it where they could tell there were files missing that were related to the president. And remember how there was like redactions and people were able to take away the redactions and all this kind of stuff? That is the Virgo energy of this.
The investigator, organizer.
Mm-hmm. And then we had this new moon, and then the president, he is a 29-degree Leo rising. So each sign goes from 0 to 29. And when you get to 0, there's a newness to the energy. So it's like you're just getting your footing in that energy. And Leo has wonderful qualities. It is ruled by the sun. It is creative. It is dynamic. It can have like this big vision and do leadership in order to get there. And it's like the performer who can like entertain us and really captivate us and hold our attention. And when you're under the rays of a Leo praising you, it can be like the best feeling ever, because they just like, their warmth really envelops you, and really it's just beautiful. But as you move through the sign, especially as you get to the last degrees, and the last degree of a sign is a degree of crisis and decay, and it holds all that energy, and it starts to, be tyrannical and thinking it's narcissistic. Not everyone who has a 29-degree Leo anything is like this, but the president, it's a whole chart you take into account. But it's also conjunct previously the Star of Kings, Regulus, this fixed royal star.
Wow.
And it is like the king energy.
Mad king. It's a recipe for a mad king is what you're talking about.
And that's what it is. And we have a mad king, and he's been a mad king his whole life. Well, this eclipse was opposite him. So his ascendant, which is him, his vitality, notice how his vitality is kind of crumbling. And opposite this Aquarius, they're on an
The people.
axis. The people, the groups of people. And one of the biggest stories right after that was that the Supreme Court said the tariffs were illegal. And so that was that group, the Supreme Court, opposite him. Oppositions come in from other people, and it comes in from the seventh house, which is also allies. So he was told by Benjamin that we want to go to war. And I think one of the biggest reasons we're doing this is a distraction from Jeffrey's files. And that speaks to the timing, because the timing could not be worse energetically to start a conflict, because Mercury stationed to go retrograde in the sign of Pisces on February 26th, the day before this happened. And when a planet stations, it's an intensification of its energy, and Mercury rules decision-making, thought processes, as well as communication. And when it goes retrograde, it's not in a great state. It's like going direct versus walking backwards. Walk backwards. How well do you walk backwards? Most people don't walk backwards well. And Pisces is a beautiful sign. It's creative, imaginative, empathic, compassionate. But Mercury does not like to be here. It's as far away from home as it can be. Mercury likes to be in Virgo, which is its home sign, where it can take information and sort it, categorize it, and get it all, be really logical. Now, in Pisces, you're talking about intuition and imagination. There is a lack of logic, and it's also the sign of its fall. So it's a worst time to have conflict with Mercury retrograde in Pisces. And what Pisces can do is just diffuse things. It goes everywhere. It's a water sign. And then the next day, Mars squared Uranus. Mars is the planet of war. Uranus, a people. It triggered the eclipse that's the trigger to go to war. And I have been I have just everything trying to hope we would find a different way with this energy, that better minds would prevail. But here we are. We are here. So the bombs started dropping that day. And
Uranus, Mars. So it's so interesting that you mentioned the Mercury retrograde, because I thought the same thing. I thought, oh, this is not good. You shouldn't be starting. My God, usually we say, be extra careful if you're going to start something. Just, life goes on, right? But you want to reread that contract. You want to make really sure you got that email the way you wanted it, because communication. This man starts a whole freaking war when Mercury is retrograde. And I think we're seeing that now in how things are falling apart, how really Iran is punching above its weight. It's actually, no, I think everybody is surprised at the abilities it has and the stacks of armory that it has. I think we're all going to be surprised before this is over with at how foolhardy this has been.
That is, astrology describes things. It describes the energy. So conflicts entered with Mercury retrograde in Pisces, it just goes diffuse. And here again, we have the Aquarius solar eclipse. Aquarius is large groups of people. So they hit Iran. And what does that country do? It starts shooting off missiles, not just to all our bases, but they're causing havoc in all these other countries. I think it's 10 countries in the Middle East are now involved in this. And that's a strategy. They've been planning this for years. They had their
You're right.
strategy probably all dialed in, checked
Yep.
twice while
Yes.
Mercury was in Virgo or Gemini or things like
Yes.
that. So
Yep.
they had this strategy already prepared. And it's like David and Goliath is in the energy. We're seeing it with like Canada against the US. Mark Carney is like, okay, I'm going around you. I'm making deals with the rest of the world, kind of thing. Figuring out how to outmaneuver the Mad King. And now already we've been told six soldiers have been
Yeah, I
murdered,
know.
but it's more.
It's
I
more.
think.
It's going to be shocking. I'm afraid that it's going to be shocking. And I think that's also Pisces diffusion,
Mhm.
dreamy. We're not sure. We maybe, but we're not. You're going to get a lot of that out of this situation of we're just not sure. You know what the guides had said, the fog of war. They're going to
Yep.
use this as an excuse. During the fog of war, that's a bunch of baloney BS, right? But that's also very Piscean, foggy, not sure. So do you feel like so the latest eclipse was the solar eclipse,
hmm
and that's the one that had and what is that again?
So the solar eclipse was in Aquarius, and the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse work together. So the solar
Right.
eclipse was in Aquarius, and that was groups, organizations, technology, squaring Uranus, disruption, upheaval, lightning strikes kind of energy. That's
Can't
Uranus.
make it
Uranus
up.
like comes out of nowhere. You're like
Yes.
you're like just sitting around and it comes out of nowhere. Lightning strike. You're walking down the street. You don't see the sidewalks messed up. Trip fall. That's Uranus. Like
That's
you
Uranus.
find 1 second, the next you're in a problem.
You're
So
out.
now it can also be you check your lottery ticket numbers and you're a multimillionaire. That's Uranus too. Uranus is sudden changes and disruptions. That disrupts your life if you win the lottery because now you have to tell your boss to take this job.
And hide from your relatives. but
Hide from
but
your relative. Don't let them
don't let
publish your name
anybody
in
know.
the
Call your
paper.
attorney.
Don't tell
But in this
anybody.
case, it's the people. But in this case, it's the Aquarian people. So it's really about the group of people and technology, as you said. So you can understand. We can all understand that this was a
A
tinderbox.
turning
The
point.
guides are saying, like you said, we didn't have to light it, but we did, and here we are. So what I know about eclipses is the energy can stay active for months. Is that correct?
Yes. So every month we have a new moon and a full moon, and there's this 29-day cycles. But with eclipses, they open up because they're intensified. The lunar nodes, and what happens is at a solar eclipse, the sun, moon, and earth are all lined up. And the moon cuts off the signal between the earth and the sun and it like changes the channel, and you can never turn the channel back to what it was before. Now, not every eclipse affects us all in the same way, but Pluto is also in Aquarius, and Pluto is massive change to Aquarius, large groups of people. We've been seeing this for the last 2 years where
That's true.
there's massive change through storms, through earthquakes,
Protests.
through protests. Yeah, we're having a lot of that as well. And through like what's going on in Gaza, that is such a Pluto and Aquarius story where these group of people had this massive change that's going to, take decades it's just massive change. They can't go back to where they were before. So that's about the Aquarius. And I want to point out something else about Mercury retrograde, and then we can get to the lunar eclipse, which is today. So Mercury retrograde, as I said, it's a beautiful time that gives us an opportunity, a sacred pause to go within, to slow down, to review, to revisit, to revise things. When you may find your mind going back to things, and it's a great time to journal. And because it's in Pisces, pull oracle or tarot cards is a great thing to do during this time. But it's recommended not to start new things because there's something missing, and it's conflict, delays, reversals. The collapse of what was contemplated is common with this cycle, and mistakes. And with Mercury retrograde in Pisces, foggy thinking, like you talked about the fog of war. Well, what has happened? Kuwait shot down 3 military jets, friendly fire. That's classic Mercury retrograde, friendly fire situations. I can't tell you how many times I've seen in the newspaper a police officer accidentally shot their colleague, or, this sort of thing has happened. The Israel, those world food trucks, they bombed 3 world food trucks back in 2024 when Mercury was retrograde, and especially right around when it switches, that happens. And apparently, we killed the Ayatollah, but we also killed the 2 people that the president had decided was supposed to take his place. So now we've killed the people who were supposed to. So it's just an absolute mess. And that is like what you would expect with Mercury retrograde in Pisces, just a mess. And now we have a lunar eclipse. And Virgo, as I said, is ruled by Mercury, and the lunar eclipse is in Virgo. So this Mercury in Pisces is ruling the lunar eclipse. And the south node is there, which is a drain. So there's a drain on all sorts of Virgo topics. And the south node also turns things inside out. So like we can see what is happening. So this man has been talking a big game about how he's the best at everything. Nobody can fix it but me. I'm the greatest, da 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 da. And now we see the details. The devil is in the details. We see that he started this calamity. It's impacting the whole world. The sun is in Pisces. Pisces rules water, and the Strait of Hormuz, which is so important to the supply chains of oil throughout the world, and I'm sure other goods and things go through that. It is closed. Eclipses, it's like eclipsed out. So how long? We'll see. Maybe it will be opened when Mercury goes direct on March 20th. That could be symbolic of that's when it's opened again. We shall see. There could be other things. Jupiter stationing direct on next week. That's possible. That's when it could be open. But I think if I had to, just using my intuition, probably when Mercury goes direct, because it's related to when Mercury went retrograde. So that's 3 weeks of billions going up in smoke just from the trade losses around the world. People's gas prices are going to skyrocket. Heating prices. How many people aren't going to be able to heat their homes because they can't afford it because of this?
A lot.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
the prices everywhere, because you guys, you need gasoline to put in the truck to take your produce. You need gasoline to put in the truck to take your goods. It's not just gas. It's actually the whole supply chain. And you mentioned supply chain earlier. So I think this is going to be, I hate to say it, but I feel like this is more inflation, more higher prices across the board.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And worldwide too. I do think it's worldwide.
It's worldwide. Yeah, it's worldwide. And it's wild. It's wild. And this is just a rumor, but Tucker Carlson, who has been going hard against our involvement with Netanyahu, he said this on his program. It's not verified. It's what he said. But he said he has credible intel that he said it as a fact that Saudi Arabia arrested Mossad agents trying to bomb over there, and doing something to blame on Israel to draw them into the battle. So there's a lot of stuff. So the deception is revealed under the lunar eclipse. So I don't know. I'm saying that's what Tucker Carlson is reporting. and it's getting more and more news. So I feel comfortable saying that this is just what's been said. So it's not, I can't say it's a fact or not, but that thing in Austin was so suspicious with that guy with the, what do you intuitively feel about that?
I didn't see it, but I heard about it. So I don't know the visual that you're talking about. What happened with the
So
shooting?
this on Friday, I think, or Saturday, there was a guy who went from Senegal who went into a bar in Austin. He was wearing a Property of Allah shirt, which you're
No.
not allowed to do
The
that in
answer
Islam.
is no, no, no.
And he,
Senegal, no. Property of Allah, no. This was a complete setup.
yeah, and a Quran was in his car.
No, doesn't. It's
Let
just
me,
like the guy that they arrested, the bomber, the DC bomber, that guy they arrested. He looks
yeah,
like Doogie Howser or something. Like it's
yeah.
like it does not look like a bomber. He looks like a nerdy dude, right? Like they just find these people and they're like, you will be this the scapegoat. Celeste, they think they still think we're cooked. They still think we're completely stupid. Like it's the same thing like they're saying with the war. Well, we had reason to believe and it was a preemptive strike. It's what the guys have been saying. They're going to drag out the fake weapons of mass destruction. We've already been down that road. We're not going to believe you anymore. We don't believe some guy wrote property of Allah on a t-shirt and went and no, we don't believe that. We're just not that cooked. And I think maybe the astrology is going to show us how we're going to be aware. It's going to be revealed to us.
Okay. So Neptune, this is another big theme, is that Neptune went into Aries. So Neptune traveled through the sign of Pisces from 2011 until last year, and then it dipped into Aries and dipped back into Pisces, and now is in Aries for the next like 14 years. And Neptune is the planet of illusions and delusions. And Pisces, oh, it was so comfortable. It was like
Dreamy.
a dream. This is like cult formation. This is like taking you on a fantasy. Well, it goes into Aries, and Aries is sharp objects and fire. And it's like, I called it pop the balloon. So I likened it to the people in Guyana where they were there with Jim Jones and in this utopia. But the day that he gives you the Kool-Aid and tells you to drink it and you taste it and it tastes disgusting and you want to spit it out, that is pop the balloon. The propaganda is not working anymore. People are seeing the light. They have just about had it. And the planet Saturn, which rules the authority and institutions, is in the sign of Aries. And it's the sign of its fall. So around all over, people are seeing that their authority is not doing a good job. Their authority is in fall. It's whether it's corrupt or just imbecilic like we have or whatever. And Saturn and Neptune coming together, which happened on February 20th, the day that the Supreme Court said, no, you're not with these tariffs. It's like a tower collapsing. So his whole like big thing is collapsed. In 1989, so think about what was happening in your life, 1989, if you can remember. There was Saturn, Neptune came together in Capricorn, the sign of governments. Aries is the sign of war and the sign of independence. It also has to do with sports, competition. But anyway, in 1989, that's when the Berlin Wall fell. That's when we had Tiananmen Square. That's when we had in California, there was an earthquake in the Bay Bridge, a piece fell, and there was
All
a
three of
freeway that
those
collapsed.
things.
That's Saturn, Neptune. Something
Tiananmen,
suddenly collapses.
all
But
three
it's
of those. Tiananmen, the wall, the East-West Germany wall, and the bridge, all three of those. Wow.
so they met 3 times that year. And what also happened is, in Iran, something big happened in Iran in 1989 as well. I can't remember. These cycles are very tied to Russia, and there's the astrology podcast. They did something about it in relationship with Iran. So it's also tied into Iran. But the other thing I wanted to say is that's when we took Noriega out of Panama. So we see the repeat of these cycles. We see what's happening with Maduro. That's one. We see, I feel like, the face off between ICE and Minneapolis. That's similar to Tiananmen Square, like what happened to Renee Good, and I think there's someone named Porter,
Freddie and Porter, maybe?
Alex Freddie. That's kind of like Tiananmen Square energy to me. And we're seeing like the United States is trying to make Iran fall, but we'll see who wins this fight. I'm very concerned.
I don't think Iran is going to lose this fight. Their country is like a fortress, right? It's mountainous. It's hard to get into. And I think you were right about you saying they prepared this plan 10, 12 years ago, and it's been ready. Like it's not dusty. It's not old. It's kept up. It's anyway. I think we bit off more than we can chew is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting that Britain is saying, we're not getting involved in this. This is your crazy stuff that you started over there, right? So, and it's interesting that Iran is also bombing a lot of the Middle Eastern countries as well as Israel. So they're just making everybody's life a living hell.
They're doing an economic cost.
Which is the smart way to do it.
Yeah, like buildings in Dubai, which is supposed to be this paradise that you could just go to. And I mean, it looks so disgusting to me personally, with it's like Las Vegas on steroids, like the lavishness that's built by slave labor. I don't care for it, but it's very, very posh. And
it's getting bombed. Nobody ever thought that would happen. So that's what is that the Uranian
that's the Uranian energy upheaval, unexpected.
Right. They didn't expect that,
upheaval. Right? Yeah.
They didn't expect that.
And it's like things. Pisces also, the sign of Pisces is also chaos. It's like it just spreads. Now, I think we had a plan for many years, and I'm sure we have been, as well as Israel has been helping the people of Iran to revolt against their government. I have been rooting for the women of Iran for so long, like hoping that they get more freedoms and things. And they've been successful in making some gains. But the president said something about go get your government, like go take over your government.
We've done our job. You go do your job. It's like, no,
that's not how you do a regime change.
No,
you have to have there has to be like a step by step by step by step by step. And maybe it'll happen. Maybe they will in a month or whatever, tell the people to get out in the street and maybe it'll be okay.
I do think I think when you go into his energy, he thought that, first of all, he is very violent. He really wanted war. I've been saying that. But second of all, he just thought that we would go in and do a couple of things and leave and be like the hero. And no, this is a trap. I feel like we're caught in a trap, like our leg is caught in some kind of bear trap.
My podcast this week is called Venus Flytrap. Venus Flytrap. And in the United States chart, Venus rules the president because we have a Libra midheaven, which stands in for the president.
Venus rules the president.
Yes. So when Venus transits
in our chart, the United States astrology chart.
Yes, the United States astrology chart.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So Venus Flytrap. I think it's a lot about this. This is what Epstein was doing. Jeffrey was taking his friends to this island, videotaping everyone doing unbelievable things.
What?
God knows what. We know it's sex with minors, but I know there was a lot of violence going on
There
up
was a
there.
lot of violence, other weird ritual
And
things.
yeah, I've heard about that as well. But for sure, there was violence. Um, and then selling this information or whatever. I don't know, but it's rumored that Russia, at least, and Bibi's place, that he was giving information
Compromat.
to
There's
them.
been books written about
Compromat.
it called Compromat. It's compromise, but in Compromat is Russian.
And this is how they've been controlling our
That's true.
government.
That's true. Yeah, 100%.
This is how he has no choice but to do what he's told, because
Yes.
there's videos of him doing horrific things. And
Yes.
I think, I don't know what I probably shouldn't even say it. We all know how he lusts after his daughter. Should I
Yes.
say it?
Oh no, I think that's true. And I think also the boys were also uh in some way made, maybe possibly allegedly available. Yes, I agree with you. 100% agree with you. So if we're looking at, oh,
Oh, and
so
there's another thing about, I'll just say it, Mercury's retrograde. There's another thing about this. So I watched this movie called Blink Twice. It's on Amazon Prime, and it was done by Zoe Kravitz, and Channing Tatum is in it. And I thought it was fantastic. The end kind of fell apart, but it's very similar to what happened on this island, where these two young women were dazzled by this rich man, went to this island, and then strange things started happening. Well, turns out there is this drug, it starts with an S, that makes
yes,
people forget
yes,
what
yes,
happened to them.
you're right. You're 100% right. Yeah.
So
And
that
also
was,
there's a drug that makes you can do things, but you don't remember what you did.
mm-hmm,
You could actually commit a crime and not know that you did it because this
mm-hmm.
drug removes whatever that consciousness is. So I agree with you. I think these things happened 100%, a
Yeah,
1,000%, 1,000%.
yeah. And his requests, is there, I think, oh, Susan, I want you to know, I want you to, do you feel this? So I have thought that this signal gate, that story from last year at the last lunar eclipse, where they accidentally added a reporter
That's
to
right.
that chat, or I think it might have been subconsciously done, to knowing they were doing wrong things, where they were planning military things. Because what happens on that is you can set messages to disappear at a certain
Yeah,
time.
but they
Well,
didn't.
the there was a conversation in the emails about the files between Jeffrey and someone who worked for Trump's campaign, about how Katie Johnson which was one of the alleged victims, had been testified about the president. And Epstein said, let's talk about this on Signal, essentially. So I think, if we'll find out, Congress better have already told Signal to give them all of their information. But do they really delete these things? Do you think there's disappearing messages that's still in the Signal's
I think
server?
it's still in the server, but I think that I don't think Signal's going to give it up. I think they're going to have to be taken to all the way up to the highest court.
Because in everything those people signed said that they must, like with Anthropic, because this is something, Mercury retrograde, we got to see, it revealed that what the government was requiring of these people.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
one of the things in that document said that they must follow any legal order. So to me, if the Congress said, give me those things, they would have to just do it. But maybe
I
not. You're not feeling it.
feel like that could happen maybe after the midterms, after the end of the year, or towards the end of the year, or the beginning of next year. The
Okay.
beginning of next year feels like I'm getting the word like sanitize, like the light sanitizes all of this darkness and all of this erratic energy that is hard to evidence of scandal. That's funny. Yes, of course.
But then it's like, I was like, when is it going to happen? And I got tornado winds. So that to me is like you said.
Well, that would be like summer.
And then housing issues. I think
Also
there's
summer. I hope it is summer. I do see housing issues this summer. So I think that maybe it is this summer. I hope it's this summer and not next, but I think we have enough. We have so many things to work through. What is that one?
change
Change
is
is
coming.
coming. Yeah.
So July 26th, this is when Saturn, the planet that rules the authority and institutions, stations, and it will station opposite the Saturn of the US chart in the 10th house. So it's a fourth house, 10th house story. So it's the party in power and the opposition party. And then when it goes retrograde, it pulls back the tape so that we can see what's underneath in Aries. So I'm wondering if
July, what was that? 28th?
July 26th, and
6th.
Mercury's going to be retrograde again
Well,
in the
what
sign
is
of Cancer.
what is happening around July 4th? I hear all the astrologers saying something big is going to happen around the
Mars
3rd.
and Uranus meet July 4th, so that's very intense energy. That's fighting
Mars is
energy.
war, anger, fire. Uranus is sudden, sudden lightning
Sudden-
strikes. We talked about that already.
Yeah.
So they meet in any particular way, in any particular
they meet
house.
in the sign. They meet in the sign of Gemini, which the United States has Uranus in Gemini, and historically we've always been in some conflict as we're having our Uranus return. When it returns back to where it was when the country was founded. This happens every 84 years. So around the time of the World War II, the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, Uranus was in the sign of Gemini. So it's suggesting there will be a lot of conflict. The president is having WW World Wrestling on the lawn of the White House. I mean, it is just unbelievable.
Look, it can't get, I mean, okay, right. So I don't
It's just
think
unbelievable. But
I don't. So I would listen to your intuition, everybody. I feel uneasy around the 4th of July. And if I had my druthers, I would just stay home. But, listen to your own intuition. Maybe everything is fine in your hometown. Listen to your intuition, right? That's the most important thing. If you're like, I don't feel like I want to be around people, I don't care. If it's the 20th of March, just listen to your intuition,
yes,
right? That's the most important thing here. Truly,
yeah, we're in
is.
a time of great upheaval. So listening to our intuition is the smartest thing to do.
Key.
If you're going right and you get this little nudge to go left, just go left.
Just go left. Right.
Yeah, because things can happen anywhere. There was like a freeway thing where there was somebody jumped out and was attacking people. I mean, it's things could happen anywhere. So no, I don't want to cause any more fear. There's enough fear to go around.
Yeah. No, but knowledge is power. That's why we do these videos, because knowledge is power. If you know these things are happening, then you can kind of pay attention to that, right? So do you see anything? I'm thinking, I got my guides told me if there are indeed large casualties, I mean casualty, like unalived, and that gets covered up, we're gonna know about it. We're just gonna know because they're revealing, because of all the things you've been talking about. I feel like there's really a possibility that he's going to be removed, or he's going to run away, or he's going to step down, because I'm telling you guys right now, the energy is pitchforks. The energy is, a week ago, my nephew, my daughter, my son, my husband, my wife was stateside, and now they're over there. A week later, no. This is no. I'm telling you, the American people, MAGAs, doesn't matter who you are, we don't want this. So this could be a real game changer for him.
Downfall is the energy I get.
It could be his downfall.
Because Uranus in the sky is coming to square his ascendant for the last time. This whole presidency has been one disaster after another. These tariffs, like him coming out talking about governor and calling China, having JD call Chinese people peasants, and all of this. We're going to just take
The ice
Greenland and
stuff.
Panama. All of this stuff has had very serious repercussions for. I mean, businesses have closed because of this. People who
Yes.
cater to Canadian tourists, they're out of
Yes.
business
Yes.
because they're not coming, or they've had to I've heard there've been Canada drank a lot of the alcohol
Yeah,
from
the whiskey.
Kentucky.
The whiskey.
Whiskey.
The
These
bourbon.
manufacturers went sales
Belly
collapsed.
up.
That's
Yep.
Saturn, Neptune, we've been feeling it for the last year, like things just collapsing suddenly. But February 20th, they met in Aries and started a new cycle right near RIC, which is the land, the opposition party, the rebels of the country, housing issues. And Saturn takes 2.5 years to go through a sign. So we're going to be seeing these things happening, like fires. I think this is going to be worldwide. We're going to have really bad heat and fires
Yes.
this
I've been
summer.
seeing that
So,
myself.
yeah, so
Drought, heat, and fires. Drought, heat, and fires. Oh my God. So you said it's on the United States charts ascendant, or it's on
this
his ascendant?
so Saturn and Neptune met at the United States chart, our root, our IC, which is opposite the president. So Saturn rejects, excludes, brings in hardship. Oppositions come in from other people, and Neptune weakens. So yeah, I would not be surprised if he's taken out from the role. I mean, he could just die at any moment, but he could also be taken out. I kind of got like an inkling that he might actually have some consequences. Like he might actually go to prison or something, but that seems ridiculous.
I know it seems ridiculous, but it's true though. Look, he had choices, right? Like I can only read based on he made a choice. Now we get a new reading. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he chose to do this to Iran. Now we get a new timeline. The new timeline is the guides told me he might be run out of office, and I'm getting the energy of the South Korean president who got run out of office, and he literally just went to prison last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think there is a possibility.
Don't get your hopes up too much, but he might suffer some real consequences.
Right. Don't get your hopes up. But the energy has changed. He changed the timeline. He decided to do this thing. And he did it in a way that is different than dropping a bomb in a field or dropping a bomb on he chose the one country nobody messes with, right? And he killed their leader, and then he killed the subsequent leaders, and then he killed all those schoolgirls, which I think we should be in the streets over that. Americans should be in the streets over that. We should be like, we are not going to allow you to bomb schools. Where are we? Why aren't we in the streets about that? It just drives me crazy.
Well, last week we had a first quarter moon. So you have the eclipse, the solar eclipse, the new moon, where the sun and the moon are together, starting a new story. And then there's an action taken at the first quarter moon. And it was in Gemini, which rules children. It's also an air sign that has to do with communication and thought processes. So I have heard all sorts of different stories about this school where over 100 girls were killed. And I called my podcast last week, Blessed Are the Children. And I've heard that Israel was the one that shot that weapon. I've heard it was Iran shot something and it was an accident. So I don't know. I haven't heard we shot it, but we are a party of it because we joined into this.
Well, yeah, we started the whole thing.
Of conflict over who did it. Who did it? Whose fault is it? Well, I say it's the fault of the person who started this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we started it. It wasn't nothing. Yeah. None of this would have happened had he not taken the first step, right? Like none of the subsequent steps would have happened.
Yeah. So and I agree with you. We should be outraged about this. So maybe the schoolgirls will be something, because Virgo rules the maiden. It's the virgin,
That's
It
right.
also has associations with, this is why this stuff is coming up now, because the South Node is in Virgo, scooping all this stuff out, scooping it out so that we can see it and decide what we're going to do about it. So we'll see. We'll see if that's the schoolgirls is so upsetting. I mean, it's upsetting all of it. I mean, there are all
All of it's
kinds of people
upsetting.
being killed. In there are soldiers, people
Yes, the
in,
whole
in
thing.
other countries in the Middle East that all of it's the civilians that pay the price that for the decisions of the leaders.
And the soldiers who,
So
yeah, and it's an illegal war.
he did not
It's
get
not.
Congress, and I'm so mad at Chuck Schumer. Didn't he stop coming to? They could have stopped him. Congress holds the power of the purse. I think they could have stopped him.
There's a lot of things they could be doing. I mean, a
And
lot of things they
Jeffries
could
too.
be doing.
I'm so upset with both of them. Why didn't you bring this to push this earlier to the floor?
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
yeah,
If nothing else, I'm telling you, the guides keep saying these people are electeds. They should be camping out on the stairs of Congress, and they should just be sleeping out there. They should show the American people we are against what is happening in that building. We're going to stand here and protest ourselves. We're going to make ourselves uncomfortable. We're going to pitch a tent, right? Like, show me that you're having some kind of adverse effect the way all of us are having, right? Instead, you're going to dinners and doing your thing and saying we can't do anything. I need more from you. I just need more.
yeah, yeah. And so one of my predictions that has been because with Saturn Neptune, the authority is so corrupted that people lose faith. They were disillusioned. That some soldiers may, well, I had said soldiers will lay down their arms, and I was
Yes,
hoping that they would say, no, we're not going to do this. Well, they did it. So do you see defections,
I
conscientious
do.
objectors, things like
I
that
do.
happening?
I do. I 100% do. I don't know. I feel like they're going to be contacting Canada, the way they did in the Vietnam War. I
Mhm.
feel like they're going to be contacting, getting chills over that. I think they're going to be contacting countries and saying,
That's
and I really think it's going to be minority soldiers who are going to say it, who are going to be like, I don't want nothing to do with this, right? Like this is crimes against humanity. This is,
mhm.
we know from the Nuremberg trials that following orders didn't get you out, right? So I think these
Mhm.
soldiers are going to say, no, I've seen this movie. I don't want to be a part of it, right? So I do see that. I see mass sit
Like,
down, sit outs. I think he'll put them in Leavenworth, and I don't think the soldiers will even mind. I think they'd rather be in prison than to do crimes against humanity. There's a more of an enlightened soldier attitude right now.
the blinders are off.
The
The
blinders are off.
propaganda is not working anymore. They
No,
know they are
on all
just
levels.
fighting for these rich elites who
Yes,
grape children.
yes, yes, yeah, exactly.
And
And
worse
I
than that.
I've heard there's all these reports too. I don't know if you've heard this yet, but soldiers are saying, why are we being told that this is a Christian war? Like they're reporting to their higher ups, like, I'm not a part of a Christian war. This isn't a Christian war. Like, you shouldn't be telling me this is God's war. So, the soldiers are starting to push back and say, no.
Yeah. I read something about Quakers are being contacted by some of
There
these
you go.
military
I
groups.
promise you it's going to be a lot of defections, AWOL. And I think those people are going to be given a pass. I feel like they're going to be given a pass out of this.
Maybe see what the soldiers, because like, why die? What are they dying for? Nothing. Just so
And what are
elites
they
can make
killing
more money.
for? And why are they killing people too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
They're
saying that they're okay.
She's an
Okay.
astrologer
So
by
I got
day and a
replace
tarot
or
reader by
exchange.
night.
What do you get? So about soldiers defecting, I got replace or exchange. Betrayed,
So
backstab. They feel
yes,
betrayed, backstab.
yes.
But then I got fake news. So like they're being told a fake story.
Yes.
But this,
Well, we will be told a fake story. You know what I
yeah.
mean? It's just like the number of casualties,
And then
and they'll be
underneath
told
taken by
the wrong
force.
thing.
Do you think there could be a draft?
I said that yesterday, actually.
That's
I
one of
said
the
that
things with
yesterday.
Saturn, Neptune,
Yeah,
compulsory. Saturn, like, is hardship in Aries, the military.
the war,
Like the
the
authority
military.
says you have to go fight a war
But
for.
you know what? That I tell you guys for real. On my bingo list has always been if he starts a war, it's over for him.
Yeah.
MAGAs don't want a war. This is the
Oh,
one thing that we all agree on, right? And then number two, draft. So I think they're going to talk about the draft already. It's trending. Barron first
yes,
is
I saw
trending.
that. Yes,
And did you
Baron
see that
first.
he said allegedly he said my son can't go because he's 6'9", but Robinson, the basketball player, was 7 foot and he went. So people are like, check, no, no. If Mr. Robinson can go, Mr. Barron can go. I do think they're going to mention a draft. I think because they can't get. Look, this is a quagmire. Real, the guides are saying this is not.
That's what I got
This is
yesterday, the word quagmire.
Yes, and I've gotten that for months, right? And it's specifically around these types of situations. So I feel like this is, and it also is a very embarrassing for us to lose 3 planes. Remember the 2 planes that fell off the aircraft carriers into the ocean? Now we're up to 5 planes. Number one, this is reducing our ability to fight. Number two, it gives the robber barons blank checks to order more planes and make more money. The American people don't want nothing about this. We're going to go into an isolationist energy. We're going to go into we're not funding. We're not funding any of this stuff. We're just going to hang out in our little bubble and we're going to call it good. Now, before we get there, there's a lot of war energy, but we're going to get to this place where we are just licking our wounds, where we're just really getting small and we're not this big expansive energy anymore.
And the people are rising. So the solar eclipse in Aquarius also amplifies that group energy. And right now there's this upheaval. But what's going to happen in July 26th, the day that Saturn goes retrograde, the North Node, which is an amplifier, will go into Aquarius. So I think this energy is building for people to come together in community. I mean, Minnesota was an example, but we're going to see all kinds of things around the country. I think people will really be in the streets. And like you've been saying this for a year, that it's actually the MAGAs that are going to be the maddest, or going to be with the pitchforks going at them.
Because of
Marjorie
this
Taylor
war
Greene
and this
went
draft.
off yesterday about this.
Who went
Yeah,
off?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker Carlson over there talking common
And
sense, right? It's like
Candace Owens, who was also a very popular right-wing
they're
podcaster, was
rebranding. You know why? Because they see that it's crumbling and they're going to rise up. They're going to try to take control. That's why you see them all of a sudden. What is that guy's name? They're showing me the podcaster who's still alive and still doing things. The male MAGA dude, and he's like, I don't know, man, this is pretty crazy, right? So even that guy, Rogan, he's
Joe
separating
Rogan.
himself because they want to be able to take over when all of this crumbles. So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing these people reposition themselves so that they can do that. And I tell you, it's going to be they're going to pay a price. They're going to pay a huge price. But it's interesting to me energetically. I'm a little more concerned around the 3rd, 4th, 5th of July for some
Okay.
reason than I am the other date in later in July. It could be that that's a culmination. It could be something starts on
Yeah.
the 3rd, 4th, and
Well,
then there's
that
a
could be
culmination.
about pulling back the tape about this stuff. Yeah, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and July. That's conflict energy.
Okay, and the later one is revelation.
It could be revelation. I mean, it could be. It could be. it could be difficulties as well. That could be maybe more the heat and the fire, whereas the third, fourth, and fifth is more of the conflict energy.
You know,
The-
I will end this soon, but I also, because this is what I'm getting when you're talking. Two things. We are witnessing our government be ineffectual. We're witnessing our government not work for the people, right? And where's the safety net? What are you doing for me? There's nothing that's being done for me. Number one. Number two, this was on CNN, which we can't trust either anymore, but allegedly 45 or his people took the founding documents of our country
yes. Oh, this
out
is
of the White House
that's Mercury retrograde as well. They're taking away documents, Mercury rules documents on a freedom tour.
on a stupid plane with freedom tour on it. The original documents. Look, I'm what they're doing is dismantling our government. And that's okay because apparently it's broken anyway and it's been broken. But get used to it because this is the beginning of us going to this place where we're going to redo the Constitution, where the
Yes.
government is going to dissolve. I promise you, the White House is going to fall. It's going to dissolve. Nobody's going to live there. We'll be lucky if something gets saved for some kind of museum. But this is these things that Celeste is talking about, like around July. To me, this is the final dissolution. The final dissolution of the whole thing happens in July, and it's just like dust. It's like when the building falls and you just see the dust and you don't even see the
That's
building.
the Saturn opposition. Yeah. And maybe because the Saturn opposition will be in effect when Mars meets Uranus at the third, fourth, fifth, our birthday. Yeah. Yeah.
It's meant to happen, you guys. I think this is just karma. He came here to wreck the government. The government has not been representative of all people. We know that. There's a
For a
race
long
problem, there's a
time.
class problem, there's all kind of problems. The only people that get anything out of our government are rich people, and that is wrong. And this Aquarius for the people energy is here to say this is wrong. Saturn's here, Mars is here, Uranus is here to help us do these things that we can't do on our own. It's helping us with this madman, this mad king who's burning it all down. And guess what? We get an opportunity to build a new version of this country. It's going to take a while, but it should take a while. We don't want to just put it back together the way it was. We can't. We can never go back, just like Kamala Harris said. But we need to go forward, and we need to do it with us at the table, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What do you think
Abs-
about that, Celeste?
Absolutely, Susan. Yeah, it's like we're at a turning point. We're never going back. So we just have to come together in community. I feel like we have to confront this time with courage, but it's very scary. It's very scary. And I've been telling people for years, like at least a year and a half, if you can, have 2 weeks supplies at home.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
least, because there may be disruptions, like in cash machines where they can't take cash, or have some cash at home. And water and food, non-perishable food. I bought myself a little stove so I can cook in my
Me too.
thing. I bought these two things, like one of rice, one of beans that are sealed. They can last 25 years. Hopefully, I'll never need to open this. But yeah, these I've gotten some, emergency supplies. Now I live in California. There could be an earthquake, so I don't
Yeah.
want to stock up too much if the emergency I have to leave the house. But
Right.
having some stuff just in case, the grid, like, because cyber attacks is what's likely to happen. That could be
That's
what's
what I
coming.
think is going to happen. That's what Iran is going to do to us. And I think they really could leak videos of him, leak real. I mean, again, it's dissolution of our country, right? Where it's not the country we thought it was. Apple pie and 4th of July was all some kind of hallmark kind of sort of, whatever, not really true platitude about what really has happened. And
Mhm.
we're having to face that. But I think you're
Yeah.
right. Take good care, get ready in any way that you can, take good care of yourself. And
Mhm.
knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is power. I want to tell you about something Celeste is doing because I think this is fascinating, right? So she's got this class. It's $30 for 5 weeks, you guys, 5 weeks.
We want to
And
keep it
it's
inexpensive so that people who wanted to join could join.
But it's not just astrology. It's actually about moving your body and dealing with this energy. Because I'll tell you, my guides have been warning me, Susan, if you don't start moving your body, which is Aries, which is where we are, you got to get this out of your body. I don't care if it's chair yoga. I don't care if it's walking, whatever. But Celeste, being Celeste, she put together a class with a co-teacher who's going to teach the movement part. So I think if you're looking for a way to, you're like, Susan, I can't take this anymore, which I agree with you. Well, $30, the next 5 weeks, one class a week, you can actually learn how to manage this energy because learning now is when you need to learn it because this summer is going to be hot. There are going to be fires. There are going to be conflicts. This isn't stopping you guys. So avail yourself of different things you can use to learn how to move through it. Join communities. I have an online community that's free. Join communities, join her class. She's also got a class on the moon. We talked so many times today about the moon. The moon controls the tides. It controls females' menstrual cycles. It's it's super important, right? These are things you can learn and actually instead of being in freak out mode and being just consuming news and worry, you can actually switch that off sometimes and switch on. Here's how I can help myself, right? Astrologybyceleste.com is her website. Also, she's on YouTube. She's got a podcast. She does sessions. She does classes. She's on the board of OPA, the Professional Astrology Association.
The Organization of Professional Astrology.
The board, you guys, the board of the biggest organization on professional astrology. So she knows what she's talking about. So think about joining her class, Astrology by Celeste, or whatever else works for you, right? But pace yourself. We are in the thick of it right now. That's what I would say. We're in the thick of it. We've been warning you. This is it. This is the thing we've been warning you about. It's going to last, I think, till July. So we have to figure out a way to get through it, however that is for you. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, so the challenge is called the Cosmic Fire Up Challenge. It's 5 weeks of movement and astrology. It starts April 9th. You can go to my shop page, or actually, that's on my events page. You can get it there, and I'll give Susan a link, or you can get
It'll be
my
in the
Proper
description.
Care and Feeding of the Moon class. Come for a session if you want to talk about how to make the most of your transits
Oh,
this year and learn about your natal chart and how to manage your energy through this time. But I think everyone should have some kind of thing you do every morning to kind of help you clear your energy, protect it. You can take showers, baths, salt soaks. Oh, I meant to take a bath last night. I didn't. I'm going to do an Epsom salt, get an Epsom salt bath. I think is really a wonderful way to clear your energy. I have these sprays too that I use from
where do you get your
Alaskan
sprays?
Essence. This Guardian spray I've been using lately from
Where do
Alaskan
you get it?
Essence. It's called Alaskan Essences. I just got it online.
Alaskan
I'll send you
essences.
the
Okay.
information on
Yeah,
this.
yeah. We'll put it
And
in
I
the description.
and I
So important, you guys. This is self-care, right? This is how
yeah.
we do it. This is self-care. And I want to say too, just briefly, you guys, your astrology does not match the astrology we're talking about. We're talking about the United States astrology. Your astrology might be amazing. My astrology is actually pretty damn good for this year. Like it's like Susan, go, Susan, go. Somebody
Mhm.
else's astrology might be, oh, watch out for your health because Virgo, right? Somebody else's astrology might be, oh, watch out for this or take advantage of this. So it's about being empowered, right? This is what I'm saying. So get a session with us. I've had sessions with Celeste. She's amazing. Get a session, learn about yourself, right? But if you can't afford any of that, you can follow her on YouTube. You can follow her podcast. You guys, she's very accurate. I'm telling you right now, she's very accurate with this political stuff. So dial in so that you can get that free stuff, right? You can at least stay informed in that way. And I feel like when you're informed in this way, we're not just telling you bad stuff over and over again. We're giving you ways to empower yourself.
Yeah, because always Venus and Jupiter are doing stuff. They're the benefics. So there's always benefic energy
Which is
despite the hard
beneficial.
stuff. Beneficial, yes. So some people are going to have the best years of their lives in some ways. So it's not all gloom and doom, but it's a necessary change. I love this imagery of we are in the birthing canal. It's dark. We're being squeezed. But on the other side, we're going to come out and there's going to be new life. And it's not necessarily going to be easy, but it's going to bring in a better world where I really think there's going to be a better world on the other side. I've got to hold on to that light. Yeah, I'm holding on to the light that this is just a necessary part of human evolution. And what can
It
we do
really
to
is.
protect ourselves, protect our energy? There's so much, like, be careful about, there's so much fake stuff going on that's coming out. So, and
Yes.
that's Pisces and the government. One day it's this, next day it's that. Like they keep changing the story. The Pete has said Iran started this. No, they did not.
No, I know. It's like,
We
what?
know what happened. I mean, it's wild. The lies and deception. That's shadow, Mercury and Pisces energy. Again, it's a beautiful sign and beautiful placement for people who have it natally. But when we're talking about the energies of the collective, it's a different story. It
And we're
speaks
talking about the
to,
lower vibrations.
we're talking
The
about the lower
lower
vibration
vibrations of
right now.
Pisces. You know, the lower vibration of anything is not the best, right? Like you're not at your best.
But you can practice the higher vibrations,
Oh, yeah.
the 7 virtues, because it is so important. And I know which one I'm doing today.
Are you going to pick one per
The
day?
7 virtues are prudence, wise judgment, justice, fairness. So, can you be just and fair? Temperance, self control and moderation, fortitude, faith, hope, and charity. There's also a later list that also has kindness, humility, patience, chastity, diligence. So think
Nice.
about those things. Come up with ways that you can do something and stop yourself before you say things or do things. Say, is this fair and just? Is this wise? Am I using my self-control or am I just doing something else? So faith, walk by faith, not by sight. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, we can't see it yet, but on the other side, there'll be a better world.
I love that. Walk by faith, not by sight. Because all I can affect is me right here. That's all I can affect. So be kind to yourself. Use one of those things as your mantra for each day and ground your energy. And I'm with Celeste. I think we're in the birth canal. We came out breech. Y'all, we are breech. God only knows what we are. Our head is going to come out all misshapen because of the damn forceps. I mean, we got some kind of quack doctor that's pulling us out. I don't know what is happening. We're probably a 99-pound baby. God bless mother. But whatever, we're gonna make it. We're gonna get out. Then we're gonna take a deep breath, and then we're gonna start new.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Susan, for having me. Thank you for
Celeste.
everyone who's watching. I'd love to meet you in person at my challenge or one of my coming for a session. But you can also just listen to the Celestial Insights podcast to help you navigate the energies of a week like a boss.
Exactly, like a boss. I love it. All right, everybody, take really good care. All the information is going to be down in the description, and we will see you again soon. And just know we're going to get through this together. All right, we're very Aquarian. We're going to get through this together. All right, everybody, take good care. For entertainment purposes only,